Welcome to the Next Generation Rockstars podcast. If you are trying to figure out how do you recruit and retain this next generation of rockstar talent, well, you are in the right place. Hi, and welcome to the Next Generation Rockstars podcast. So today you are going to hear from Matt Schuyler, who is the CHRO, or Chief Human Resource Officer for Hilton Hotels Worldwide. Now, Hilton has over 405,000 team members worldwide. So you would imagine, as the Chief Human Resources Officer, that is a huge thing to try to manage and try to strategize around how to keep people, how to recruit them effectively, how to retain them, and how to develop them once they're there. Now, Matt and I actually, if you've listened to the show for any amount of time, you'll notice that this is a little bit different. Matt and I are actually sitting in the same room. Normally, I do all my interviews via Zoom, but we had the opportunity to sit down when I was invited to be part of the guest media at the Great Place to Work for 2019, where Hilton Hotels was honored as the #1 greatest place to work for 2019. So Matt and I had a wonderful conversation about the recruiting and developing, but also about the differences between the 5 generations that we have in the workplace today. And what does that mean for leadership? How does leadership have to evolve? And really just, what do we need to do in order to make each and every generation at work happy and productive? So listen in on what Matt has to share with you, because he has got some great nuggets to share. Enjoy. All right, so this is Amanda Hammett, and I am the host of the Next Generation Rockstars, and I am here today with Matt Schuyler, who is the CHRO of Hilton Hotels. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So, Matt, you have a tremendous honor, and this is actually why I'm sitting down with you, because Hilton is the #1 greatest place to work in 2019. Is that correct?
We are pleased to be ranked and humbled to be ranked #1 best company to work for in the U.S. by Great Place to Work and Fortune this cycle.
That's amazing. So you and I had a couple conversations earlier about what I study, and that is millennials and Gen Z and the whole next generation of talent. So tell us a little bit about what you guys have at Hilton as far as your makeup of generations.
Yeah, we are just right now passing the 50% mark with respect to millennials in our workforce globally. We have over 405,000 team members under Hilton flags around the world. We track, of course, the demographics associated with that workforce, just passing 50%. Certain parts of the world, though, we're well above 50%. In fact, Asia is a great example where we're 80% millennial in our workforce, serving our guests in our Asia Pacific region.
That's amazing. So one of the things that I'm really interested in is how this rising generation of millennials has affected the way you recruit and the way that you retain your employees.
Deeply. Yeah, in many ways. The way we recruit, the way we engage, the way we retain, the way we motivate and teach have all changed, I think, as a result of this generation called millennial, who have entered the workplace with technology as a backdrop, high expectations with respect to the impact that they'll make in the workplace as well as the work they do, and with a high demand to learn and grow in their careers as part of the workforce. So that's in many ways driven our programs and initiatives over the past, I'd say, 4 or 5 years, as we start to leverage technology that they've become accustomed to using to help them learn, grow, develop, as we've created jobs that we think will be compelling for them for the long run, and as we've worked to engage them in more meaningful ways in a broader purpose that we provide to society as a whole and our local communities where we do business.
That's amazing. And I know that they really appreciate that. Now let's talk a little bit about retaining them, because a lot of what I hear from companies is that millennials are job hoppers. Mm-hmm. But how do you see that, and how have you combated that?
Yeah, I understand the sentiment, and certainly I think it's born out of what I mentioned, which is there's a deep desire in this generation to continue to learn, grow, develop, and limited patience. We all live in now the age of service in a moment. And so if I want something this afternoon, I can get it this afternoon. That's different than previous generations. And so when you lift and shift that to the workplace, If this generation of worker, the millennial, doesn't see line of sight to the next opportunity, they will certainly be vocal about it, first and foremost. If nothing comes of that vocality, they'll choose to leave or move on to something else. Yeah. They will seek out leaders who will help them grow their careers in more meaningful and potentially fast-paced ways. It's not extreme when you think about it in light of what's happening societally, where the world is just moving faster. We have access to so much more information now, and so do they. Internally, I have often said that it used to be that leadership traded on the currency of tenure. Mm-hmm. And that's just not the case any longer, because anything I know technically, you can look up in an instant using your mobile device. And so we now believe that leadership must trade on the currency of connecting dots and help enabling the workforce to achieve its objectives and goals. And this resonates with the millennial population, we believe.
That was wonderful. And that actually wrapped up very nicely the question that I was going to ask about how are you helping your leaders to really leverage those millennials?
We are just being open and authentic about the fact that for the first time ever, there are 5 generations in the workplace. Each of those generations have bespoke expectations, but the core underlying tenet of each of those generations, interestingly, is the same. They want to have meaningful work, they want to contribute, they want to learn, they want to grow, they want to develop, they want to have some fun. The difference that we see with the millennial generation is just it's an accelerated expectation set relative to those same goals. They expect it faster. They're not willing to wait years and years and years, sometimes decades, to achieve those goals. We don't find this to be a bad thing. We think it's helping us sharpen our instrumentation, and we think it's making us a better employer, which is helping the entire workforce. So this isn't something that we're doing just for millennials. The work that we're doing now to accommodate the new expectations we see in the millennial generation is helping the entire workforce.
That is amazing. And every millennial and Gen Z is probably going to hear this and line up and want to come work at Hilton.
We would love that. They're welcome. We welcome all, and we've got great jobs, so we'll look forward to that.
Well, wonderful, Matt. Thank you so much for your time. You are amazing, and congratulations on your big accomplishment with Great Places to Work.
Thanks for the opportunity to share about it. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of the Next Generation Rockstars, where we have discussed all about recruiting and retaining that next generation of talent. So I'm guessing that you probably learned a tremendous amount from this week's Rockstar leader. And if that is the case, don't keep me a secret. Share this episode with the world, but really share it with your friends, with your colleagues, because they also need to learn how to recruit and retain this next generation of talent, because these skills are crucial to business success moving forward. Now, of course, I want you to keep up to date every single week as we are dropping each and every episode. So be sure to subscribe to your favorite podcast platform of your choice, and you will see the Next Generation Rockstars show up just for you.